Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tech Gamers World. So, Jemdo says that this one cable can replace the entire Nintendo Switch 2 dock. Does this actually work? Well, stay tuned and let's find out. Okay, everyone, welcome back. So, first things first here, before we get started, a huge thank you to Jemdo for sending me this cable here. I am super excited to check this out. If this can do everything they say it can do, this is going to be totally awesome. If everybody here could do me a favor, if you could click that like button and subscribe to me here at Tech Gamers World, that would be totally amazing. I'm always creating new and exciting content from the world of video games and technology dropping all the time, and I would absolutely love for you to be part of my adventures. So, with that said, let's get to it. So this is the Jemdo 4K 60 hertz cable here. Now they say that this can replace your Nintendo Switch 2 dock. Am I a little bit skeptical on that? Maybe. We're going to find out here. So let's check this out. Let's get this undone here. So they give you this nice branded wrap here, which is awesome. All right, so taking a look here at the cable here, it is orange and blue, mimicking the colors of the Nintendo Switch line, which is pretty cool. Here we've got a USB-C connection. This is what would connect to your Nintendo Switch 2. And this here is what would connect to your TV or monitor, or whichever playback device you are using. In this case, we'll be using a monitor for testing here. So we'll pull these caps off. Now, you'll notice, let's talk a little bit here about this. This is the HDMI connection. Now, because it is sending 4K video, you essentially need an active HDMI connection. Active means you need to supply power to it to ensure you get the full quality signal that is needed. Now, that's very important because, like I said, sending 4K video takes a significant amount of energy, more so than 1080p or any of the lower standards. So that is why you typically need to have these powered. This applies to the same thing no matter what device you use that sends 4K video. Now, what they've done here is they've included this little USB port here. This is a USB-C port that is integrated directly into the HDMI adapter here. Now, this serves two purposes. One, it essentially provides power to this device because this is an active device. It has a chip, it has brains in it. Not getting too technical into it, but like I said, it is needed to power 4K video output. And then second, this port is a power delivery port. Like it said, it's a PD port. It will provide power back to the device that is connected. So in this case, the Nintendo Switch 2. Same thing applies if you were using, say, a Microsoft Surface or your phone, which has a USB-C port, can also be used to get power from this cable, which will charge the device at the same time, which is really awesome. So in this particular case, we're going to use an OEM Nintendo Switch 2 power cable. Now, whenever you're doing anything with Nintendo products, I highly recommend you utilize the OEM Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch 2 power supply. It keeps compatibility issues down. Supposedly, with the Nintendo Switch 2, those compatibility issues have gone away, and you can use any third party branded charging power cable. I prefer, just in this case, to use the OEM Nintendo Switch 2 power cable. So now, with all that said, let's go ahead here and get this cabled up. So the first thing we're going to do here, like I said, is connect our Nintendo Switch 2 power cable here, which I've got here. It is the Nintendo Switch 2 one. As you can see, you can tell that because it has the disconnectable USB-C cable, and it's got the Nintendo official branding. And on the other end is a USB-C connection. So we'll go ahead here, get this all plugged in. Now, the next thing we're going to do is take the power cable here, connect it right into the PD port here. So we're all connected up. Now, obviously, there won't be any lights or anything like that. Next up here is we're going to get it connected up to the device we're going to use. So in my case, I'll be using my monitor here. Got it plugged in there. Now, let's go ahead here and get the Nintendo Switch 2 in position. So we've got it sat in position there. And then essentially we are now ready to go ahead and connect up the cable to the Nintendo Switch 2 and see if it displays on our monitor. So we're going to go ahead here and plug this in. Now you can use either the bottom port or the top port on your Nintendo Switch 2. I'm going to go ahead here and use the bottom port. Now, as you can see, the screen has gone blank, which typically symbolizes that it is outputting. So let's go ahead here and see. We're going to try it out on this monitor. And there we go. Awesome. So it says here, the connected TV supports HDR. If you set up HDR, game visuals will be enhanced with vivid color display. So let's go ahead here and get our Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller connected here. And we'll go ahead and hit adjust. And obviously you're going to go ahead here and go through all your HDR settings. Adjustments are complete. There we go. So as you can see here, and let me raise this up a little bit here so we can see better of what's going on here. And for purposes of this, I'll turn that light off. So there we go. So a couple of things I want to check here is I want to go ahead in and go to system settings and then go ahead and check what the display output is. So what you're going to do is come down to display and then go down to dock output information. Now, remember that the Nintendo Switch 2 does not know that this is not a dock, which is what I'd expect. Now, the current output here, resolution, is 1920 by 1080. This is because this is not a 4K monitor. Refresh rate 60 hertz, HDR outputting. So refresh rate possible with this resolution, 60 hertz, 120 hertz. Without HDR, 60 hertz, 120 hertz. So if this was a 4K monitor, this would be the 2860 resolution. So this is awesome. So let's go ahead and check out with a game here. We'll check with The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. Always a good game. Can never go wrong with that. So far, this is awesome. And if I can, come on vacations and not have to bring that entire bulky dock, that is awesome. So we'll open save file 2 here, Rifa's Court. And see how this looks. So overall graphic quality looks awesome. It literally looks the same as the Nintendo Switch 2 dock. The brights are vivid. The colors look good. There's our boy Tool in there. I hear audio, which is good. I don't see any latency or delays, any jitters, all the stuff I typically would look for here. It's looking really, really good. I am super impressed with this cable. If this is as good as it looks like, this is awesome. This is definitely going to be a replacement for the Nintendo Switch 2 dock. And what's awesome is another thing is that's it. I've just got the Nintendo Switch 2 sitting out, so I don't have to worry about heat dissipation issues, putting it on the dock, all the things that come along with having it on a dock. Now, the Nintendo Switch 2 dock features active cooling. There is a fan in the Nintendo Switch 2 dock. So obviously, of course, now we don't have that. But because the Nintendo Switch 2 is sitting out in the open air, its internal fans will be definitely good enough to dissipate the heat through its active heat dissipation system. That's really cool here. Um, let's see here. So let's get into final thoughts. Okay, so final thoughts here. So this cable from Jemdo is absolutely amazing. I cannot state that enough. This is a suitable replacement for a Nintendo Switch 2 dock. And when you're like me and you're on the go all the time, having one of these to carry with me is 10,000 times easier than having to bring the Nintendo Switch 2 dock with me. I literally just plug and play, power this up, plug it into the TV, plug this end into your Nintendo Switch 2, your Microsoft Surface, your phone, whatever, and you are good to go. It works on all kinds of devices, TVs, monitors, 1080p, 4K. This cable literally does everything. They come in a multitude of colors and they retail for a very, very, very good budget friendly price. Right now on their website, it is retailing for $32.99. Amazon is probably even cheaper. It's definitely a suitable alternative to the OEM Nintendo Switch 2 dock. Honestly, I can't say there are any real cons to this. Of course, you do have to provide power to it, but that's like anything. It's no different. I do again recommend if you were using it with Nintendo products, use an OEM power adapter for your Nintendo Switch OLED or Nintendo Switch 2. Just always play it safe because of how Nintendo works. That's nothing to do with Jemdo. Um, that's pretty much it for this one. This thing is awesome. A huge thank you to Jemdo for sending me this cable. Super excited to use it in the future, and I have a feeling it's going to be a lot. There's a link in the description and comments section of this video so you can get this cable for yourself. And as always, if you could click that like button, subscribe to Tech Gamers World, follow me here, that would be totally awesome. I will see everybody around and keep on gaming.